Alright. I like the format, by the way.
My girlfriend of 7 years and I rented a beach house Airbnb in the Hamptons on Long Island in 2018. My girlfriend's name is Alicia. The house was very secluded.
That's such an old people thing to do.
It literally sat right on the beach.
Spend more time
like
remembering the
back door
date.
led to the dunes.
I'm just kidding.
It was also more or less a completely private beach during the day,
Family
except
Guy
for the
joke.
occasional locals
If I'm
going
being
for
honest,
walks or
I
jogs
think.
along the dunes.
Not mine.
We were there for 3 days and 2 nights.
I know it's
During
probably
the
not
daytime,
their
for
property,
the most
but
part,
that's
we
nice.
lay in the sand with drinks, or we jump in the pool in the backyard of the house.
Must
The
be
first
nice having
night
a
we
big
went
house.
to some local bars to drink a little bit, then went back to the house to relax and watch a movie.
Alright, good
The
times so
second
far.
day, like I said, we basically did the same thing as the first day. Only this time we hopped in the pool first before going to lay on the beach to dry off. Right as we started packing up and I stood up, I looked at the house. At
What
one of
did
the
you
windows
see?
specifically. And I thought for sure I could see someone standing at the window, looking down at me. The sun was kind of creating a glare on the window in its
Weirdos,
current
I tell ya.
position, so I couldn't tell 100% if my eyes were playing tricks on me. I grabbed Alicia's shoulder and pointed up at the window. "Do you see that?" I asked. When she said, "See what?" I could see that whatever I thought I saw didn't seem to be there anymore. It was Alicia arriving with the stuff, so I chalked it up as seeing things after lying in the sun for hours. That night, we hit a couple of the same bars again. We stayed out later this night because it would be our last night there. I think we got back around 11.
Always clearing my throat
Upon
in
entering
these
the living
streams.
room, we tried to flick the lights on, but they wouldn't. Then we
can make a
noticed all the
compilation
digital clocks
of
and
it.
the cable boxes were off too, so
I
the power
wish.
was
I'm not
out.
Jenna Marbles.
We went to bed, and the alcohol in Alicia's system helped her knock out pretty quickly. But then, I sat up when I felt like I heard
Isn't that a
something
myth?
from outside
Does
of the
alcohol
room.
really help you sleep?
I looked at the doorway. Someone walked past the doorway in the hall. I covered my mouth with my hands to prevent my squeal of horror from being
Really?
heard. I lifted myself over Alicia to get off the bed and run to lock the door. The second I locked it, there were knocks on the other side, and someone said, "It's the landlord. I came to fix the power." I didn't believe it for a second.
That knocking
The
effect
knocks
was
turned
good.
to
I
more
thought that was
aggressive
my room for a
bangs,
second.
and the door started to shake as the man on the other side started
good
twisting and
speakers.
shaking the doorknob. My girlfriend woke up and started to scream as she realized what was going on.
Home invasion,
I
dude.
screamed, "Call the cops" to her, and I think this caused the man on the other side to stop. The next thing that happened after waiting in silence and fear was the sound of the police officers downstairs. They had entered the house through the front door that was apparently left open. The
What?
police investigated, took a report, and said they'd let the local media know of the incident. They even helped us find the circuit box and restore power.
Alright, what's the name of
next
the local
day, we
media?
left first thing in the morning, and on the ride home, I called the landlord, who said he hadn't even been near the Hamptons for a few weeks.
Oh, man. Yeah, obviously, that wasn't the landlord, dude.
I haven't told many people about this story because it's something I try to forget. Here's my story. It was a Monday evening, 4th of July. I just finished sophomore year in high school.
Time to
I was invited
immortalize
to a
this
few
story.
4th of July parties. My parents
I'm not
grounded
gonna
me a
tell
few
it.
days prior, so I couldn't go
Alright,
to any of
I
them.
get it, kinda.
However, I live in a neighborhood that's very connected, so my neighbors had a party outside in the cul-de-sac. We talked a little bit. Then Eli asked, "Doesn't Savannah live like down this street? We should go door ditch her."
I know a Savannah.
I agreed to Eli's suggestion, and we were on our way
I don't
down
know
the
an
street.
Eli.
To clarify, Savannah is that extremely popular girl that every guy has a crush on in high school. It was awkward enough that we were neighbors, but her dad was also my dentist.
Who
We made our way down the
films
street.
fireworks?
The sun began setting quickly. Eli and I made jokes about dumb things we found
that
funny
long.
at the time.
Just watch.
Being honest, we were both pretty nerdy our sophomore year. I eventually
Blunder
asked
years.
Eli if he knew where the house was located because I'd never been to Savannah's house before. After scanning the whole area of houses, Eli began pointing to my west. He was
When's this
pointing at
gonna take a
big house that
scary
was pretty
turn?
complex. We lived in a mediocre area in Michigan. Houses
Right now
like
they're
this
visiting
one were
someone.
rare here. Anyway, we sneakily approached the house.
So far it
It
sounds
was only
real.
to our surprise that no one was home. No cars in the driveway, the lights were
These
off, nothing.
kids.
We both began observing the house. We agreed that she probably went on a trip with her family.
She's not there, so leave,
I
dude.
suggested that we come back next week and do the door ditch. Eli didn't listen, though.
Oh, are they
Kept staring
trying
at
to
the
ding-dong
house.
ditch?
He approached the front door. Eli, let's go. I
Should have been
yelled.
listening better.
He told me to be quiet as he opened the front door. His face lit up. They left the door unlocked.
Oh, no,
Eli
dude.
suggested that we explore the house and that it would be quick. Being the curious teens we were, we entered the house. It was dark and
My
extremely
guess-
cold. We both split up, exploring the
Parents are
enormous
going to be
house.
back.
I went into every room
Someone's
of the
gonna
house
come
and
back.
began to feel extremely guilty because that was considered breaking into someone's house. Also, we were invading the family's privacy. After a few minutes of contemplation, Eli began screaming. I
Oh,
walked
no.
over to the screams and found Eli. He was leaving what I believe was Savannah's room. Why are you screaming? I
What?
asked. He began walking me to the nearest bathroom. He locked the door and started whispering, "There was someone watching me in the closet." I tried reassuring him the person was probably a family member who thought we were breaking into the place. He immediately responded, "Why would he be hiding in a girl's room then?" That was when we began to hear footsteps approach the bathroom door. We tried listening, but the walking seemed to stop. I
Awkward.
told Eli to be quiet. Shortly after, there was knocking on the door. It started out soft.
Oh,
As it continued, it got louder and louder.
the
It sounded as if
knocking.
someone was trying to break down the door.
I'm glad I'm not wearing my
It started
headphones for
becoming a
this.
scene out of a horror movie when the person started screaming. It was a man's scream.
A man
Turned around
screaming.
and panically tried to open the window
Yeah,
behind
they
us.
just saw a man.
It was bolted down. I thought we were dead. There was a wrench right next to the toilet, and I used it to destroy the window. We jumped out of it.
Oh,
and
okay.
fell
I would
onto
have
the
used it for
bushes
something
below.
else. What happened?
I began the conversation with, "Yes, I'm guilty, but the guy hiding in your daughter's closet nearly tried killing me." My dentist showed mercy and didn't press charges. However, he just started to become
The daughter
anxious
of their
since he told
dentist.
me.
A
He
lot of
never
weird
invited
details in
anyone
this.
to stay at our house.
Small towns, man, I guess. I don't know.
So at this camp, there were 5 buildings. The boys' dorms, the girls' dorms,
kinda feel
the
like
counselors' dorms, the main hall, which
It's
we
like,
called the
you
shack,
guys remember
and a small bathroom building.
Hustler magazine?
In the shack was the cafeteria, main
Those
office,
stories
and
in the
nurses'
back.
quarters, where any kids who suffered any kind of injuries
A lot of
would be
those
brought.
stories were usually fake.
Kids' curfews would be 9 o'clock. Curfews only meaning they weren't allowed
People
out
would
of the
submit 'em
dorm
anyway.
buildings past that time. I made good friends with this guy named Johnny.
Okay.
He was 3 years older than me, but we got along. It was
Some of
a
these
Friday
sound
night.
real.
I remember
Let's
because I
give
knew
it
it was the start of the
More
weekend.
of a chance.
The 4 of us went out to the woods to smoke. One of the
What kind of
girls
smoke?
were mid-sentence when all we heard was a crunch of leaves in the vicinity. Surely a footstep. Then, a few seconds later, there was a blinding flash. We didn't understand at first. Unnerved, all of us cut the smoke sesh short and exited the woods at an extremely quick pace.
Oh, yeah, they couldn't
Being back
oh,
at
like,
the
you can't
campground
understand, but
felt
they
a
were
lot
smoking.
safer immediately, but we became paranoid that we were being watched by one of the
Yep.
camp supervisors. And
Yep.
that the flash was
I
a
would think
picture
that
being
too. I
taken.
wouldn't be thinking it's a
We would
pervert.
surely get fired if we were caught smoking weed.
I'd be thinking I'm in
So
trouble.
paranoid panic. We all rushed to our
They didn't even
respective
have to
dorm
say weed, I
buildings. The thing about me when I smoke weed, though, I get extremely paranoid and overthink
Yeah,
everything.
not just you, pal.
So as I sit in my bed, it ate away at me, wondering if it was indeed a camera flash, and who took that picture. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to go to the shack and see if any of the supervisors were still working and come clean. You may think I was crazy to be doing this, but I'm not exaggerating when I say I get paranoid. And I really couldn't afford to lose this job over something that wasn't even my idea. However,
So far
I
this
would
sounds
feel
real.
out whichever supervisor was on
This
duty
one.
and see if they had actually seen what we were doing.
Yeah, he's
As I
checking
walked
it
down
out.
the hall towards the office, though, I
Overthinking,
realized
yep.
quickly that the office light was off. No one was in the building.
There's a reason he
Just then,
smokes in
I
the
heard
first
the
place.
familiar sound of the cafeteria exit door that I had just went through slamming again. Was I seen entering the building? Was I being followed? But it took me longer than it should have to notice something peering around the doorway to the cafeteria.
Oh,
It was a
no.
person's head. They were doing exactly what I was doing, peering in my direction. I I think Johnny could tell I was being a little extra paranoid because I was high. So he told me to just go to my room and lock the door.
Why do I like this one?
He made sure to lock the main entrance to the building
Why do I
because
like this
think I
story?
scared him too. It was just pure darkness. Until,
Pure
however,
darkness.
many hours after laying down, a flash filled my room. Lightning? No. There was no thunder, not even rain. I looked at the window, and all I saw was someone's silhouette out there. When they noticed me noticed them, I saw their hand making a waving motion at me. That was the last straw.
Another
I left my
person
room
waving
screaming
from a
for
distance.
Johnny. He had already gone to bed at this point, so I banged on his door till he opened
Well,
up.
actually, I don't think we've seen
I
someone
told him the
wave
man who was following
yet.
me was at my window, so he went to check with me, but figures, he was gone. Johnny asked me if I was still high. I told him not at all, it had been hours. The next day, I went to the main office to talk with one of the supervisors. She didn't really know what to do. She didn't call the police, but she gave me permission to call them if something else
Sounds like
happened,
a counselor.
for the safety of the children. I woke up to 4 pictures taped on my window.
Oh, what?
One zoomed in on me in the woods that night with Johnny and the 2 girls. A second picture of me sleeping in my bed.
He's being messed
Third
with.
picture of me entering the shack building that night we smoked, confirming I was being watched and followed. And the 4th picture, a zoom in of my license plate number.
This guy
I took the
probably thinks
photos
he's a
and
good
showed them to the
Samaritan,
same
whoever took these
supervisor.
pictures too.
She
Doesn't
kept
realize
them
how
for
creepy
evidence after
he
writing down
is.
my whole story, including the smoking weed part. This was many years ago now, and nothing ever happened again. But I was scared to death that the picture of my
Wow.
license plate was
Yeah,
some
okay,
kind
I
of
believe
threat,
that one. That
and
one's
whoever it
definitely
was would track me.
believable.
I still don't know who took those pictures.
I have a couple of scary stories that happened to me when I was younger and also high.